This story is brought to us from ABC7Chicago.com. Out of Chicago. I can't get the accent down. Is it Chicago? I don't know. I'm trying to get the accent. Joe Cool, help me out here. Is it Chicago? Anyway, a new traffic study found that black drivers were 6 times more likely to be stopped by the police in Chicago. San Bernardino, too, by the way. Even in areas like Lincoln Park, where black drivers are less than 1/3 of the population, data showed they still make up more than half of the traffic stops. The Free to Move organization, which did the study, is pushing for change in Chicago policing. Now, Denzel, that's Denzel Johnson, not Washington. Denzel Johnson said he was 5 blocks from home getting gas when he was pulled over and surrounded by 4 police cars. He said, "I was nervous and very afraid. They began to harass members in the car, my friends." He said the police were looking for 2 black men and mistook Johnson for the suspect. Did they apologize? Probably not. Johnson said, "I've seen traffic stops where young black men have lost their lives." So he's scared. He's like, "Oh, hey, hands up, don't shoot," kind of a thing. And they're not even the right guy. Data on the city's traffic stop was presented in Monday's city council meeting by Free to Move, a coalition advocating for a more radically equitable system of traffic safety. Their data showed black drivers were 6 times more likely to get pulled over by CPD, and the study analyzed more than 4.6 million traffic stops over 19 years. Now that's a lot of traffic stops. So if it still shows that people of color are 6 times more likely over 19 years, that's not like, oh, we studied the last 15 traffic stops. And no, 4.6 million traffic stops over 19 years. And it's still over half of them were people of color. In a city where I know they got white people. 5th Ward Alderman Desmond Yancey said it's kind of predictable to be a black driver and be pulled over regardless of what community that you're in. True. However, Fraternal Order of Police President John Catanzara, boy, we love him, don't we, said traffic stops happen in the highest crime neighborhoods, and while people think there's racial disparity, he said it's about taking down criminals. Yeah, and I don't know what the study, I was trying to look through here and I don't see where the study was, if it was all of Chicago or if it was certain sections of Chicago. They don't really tell you, they just say it was a 19-year study. But Alderman Daniel LaSpata, who's chairman of the Pedestrian and Traffic Safety Committee, says, "I want that to be true. But when we see that only, I think I saw 1.9% were related to DUI or reckless driving, certainly I find it hard to believe that black and Latino drivers are so far out of compliance as opposed to white drivers." Ain't that the truth? When I record in San Bernardino, for instance, and people say, "Well, yeah, come on, it's San Bernardino, like where you're at, there's a lot of people of color and yada yada, yoda yoda, yidi yidi." I see a lot of white people on the road. I see a lot of Latino drivers on the road. But I see a lot of black men sitting on the curb while cops go through their car. Or Hispanic. It's a lot of black people. I know there's white drivers. I go there. I'm not trying to blame the San Bernardino PD for anything. I'm really not. But it's just so interesting to see it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I rarely see a white driver. I don't know if I ever seen a white driver. I'm sure I have, but very rarely do I see a white person sitting on the curb while cops go through their car. And again, I'm not blaming the cops. I'm not saying anything particular about San Bernardino Police Department. I'm not saying they're racist or anything of that nature. I'm just saying it's interesting to note that you see it. Like it's not something that I hear or something that I'm thinking. I see it. And I don't know, it's just interesting. And sometimes I've said in my videos, another black person being pulled out of the car, you know? And I'm sure that's just one police department. I'm sure it's all over the nation. Chicago. I digress. Free to move data shows less than 1% of traffic stops in 2021 resulted in the recovery of things like drugs, alcohol, or weapons. They said often broken taillight or headlight are the reason for the stop in the first place. And I've seen that too, where cops are here locally are going through the car and then they don't find anything to arrest for. And they go, okay, just make sure to get your license registered, okay, because your license plate is out of date. Your registration, is out of date. I'm like, you pulled him over for out of date registration and went through the whole car. And people are like, sometimes when I record, the people sitting on the curb, the occupants of the vehicle, are like, come on, man, they're just doing their job. No, they're looking for something to arrest you for. Get it straight. They're not just doing their job. Yeah, your vehicle looks clean. Yeah, just wipe the dash off a little. No, they're looking for something that they can go, got it, put them in cuffs. Get it straight, man. I'm on your side. I digress again. A lot of digressios, huh? A member of the group during a council meeting, that's Free to Move, said, we don't believe one broke taillight or headlight should be a reason for a potentially invasive, harmful traffic stop. Invasive being the key word. To end it, Free to Move proposes three main solutions. Stopping pretextual stops or stops where the intention is to conduct a suspicious investigation. Limiting low-level stops and ending suspicious content searches or consent searches. Said black drivers can avoid unnecessary experiences if you, again, stop pretextual stops, like let's just check this car out, or low-level stops, like, oh, it's a taillight out, or suspicious consent searches. Stop searching the vehicle because the guy was going 35 and a 25. That's what they're saying. I don't know. See what you think.